Welcome to Your Mental Best. I'm your host, Josh Richer. I am here with special guest, Daymond John. And Daymond, I just got through your book, Rise and Grind.
Well, thank you.
Last month. And seriously, we've been working together on Shark Tank for 10 years now.
10 years,
seasons.
a decade, yeah.
And I'm working on the floor right in front of Daymond, setting up the pitches, and you guys are there preparing yourself in between the pitches. And we hadn't sat down and chatted in all these years, and we have so much in common as far as just mental state and gratitude and the positive mindset.
And God is good, yeah.
Absolutely. And so I wanted to thank you for your inspiration, and your Daymond's Instagram is fantastic. And also Daymond on Demand. I just got into that, and I'm starting to learn a lot from you and learn from the best. It's amazing.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
So,
and thank you for all you do for us and have done for us. So you know, people don't realize all the people behind the scenes that make us look good. I get to just sit in the chair and argue with Kevin, right? So
right, and you guys do it well.
Yeah.
So your mental best, what we've been building and what my listeners are into is we're keeping up a positive mindsets. You know, I had a business crash actually a few years ago. I didn't share it with you at the time, but it took me down, and I was dealing with depression and anxiety, and I had to figure out how to get out of that. So I was really curious, and I think the listeners would be really curious. What was a time that you were down, and what did your life look like at that point, and how did you get yourself out of it?
You know, I think in many times in my life was down. I mean, you know, you have things that are going to bring you down from, you know, being lost and not realizing what you want to do, or business is not going right, or you break up with a girl or a guy, or you know, you find out everything is going right in a business, but you find out your passion and those things are not being, you know, really satisfied. So, you know, we don't have enough time to talk about all the times I've been down, but you know, I can share a couple of things with you. You know, I thought I was too smart for my own good, and I didn't go to college. I took that 1 year off, which became forever. And all the kids,
about that.
Yeah, and all the kids that I thought were dumb or corny because I was supposed to be so hip at the time, you know, when they started coming back from college, I was 21, 22 years old. I was serving them shrimp in Red Lobster as a waiter, and I realized maybe I made some mistakes.
But you slogged it out at Red Lobster too.
Yeah,
I mean, you stayed till you couldn't stay anymore, and the business needed more.
Right. I mean, but that takes 5 years, right? And how do you get out of being depressed and something turned in 5 years that you never would think it turned at all, right?
Right.
Also, growing up in my neighborhood, you know, they all told us that we would be dead or in jail by the age of 21, and many of my friends were, and I used to always start to believe what society said, that if you're young, a minority, you have no rights in any other place, and all you are supposed to do is play music or basketball or a drug dealer, right?
And how did you beat that?
You know, well, first of all, it all starts from having, and I know a lot of people watching you right now, parents. It started from having a really great mother who believed in me and told me she loved me regardless and unequivocally, right? So number one, she always said that she loved me, and she also said, you're gonna have your falls, your ups and downs, but you know, that's what it is, and that's the part of the process. And I also learned by her examples. She would also work very hard. It also was about having mentors in my life and great people that will come around, and the mentor doesn't have to be somebody who's a gazillionaire or super well known. They can be just somebody at your church, or your teachers are mentors as well, but you just have to trust in them. If a teacher is coming to school and they're teaching you every day and they're spending time working with you, and you're a little dyslexic kid, in the end of the day, you have to realize, why is this person who's putting so much time in? They care about me. You know, so a lot of these things were turned around because I realized that people were investing time in me, and that it was my responsibility to do the best I could. And I would fail often, but as I kept failing, it would also teach me on what I was doing wrong and the little things that I was doing right, and I would start to perfecting those things, you know?
And was there a point that you remember that you flipped when you started believing in yourself, or when you started to really feel it inside and own it and
Well, what I started to do was I started to not that I believed in myself, but I knew what I was doing. I could sleep at night. And my worst outcome was I was doing something I love. So now we're talking about the 5 years of Red Lobster, when I decided to go back to Red Lobster and work there, and I decided to do FUBU on the side. Now FUBU was fulfilling a need of mine. You can open the door while we're kicking it, but FUBU was fulfilling a need of mine because forget the monetary aspect of it. I was going to video sets, and I had my couple of products, my FUBU products out there. So it gave me a validation of why I should be on a video set. I want to be on the video set because I wanted to see all these great rappers making this music. I wanted to talk to all the video chicks, and I wanted to do whatever. So whether FUBU would have ever worked or not, I was finding a calling. I also started to network with other people who were doing their own thing in music. They were directors, they were stylists, and I just felt like, you know what? Even though this is a side passion of mine, I'm having such a ball, and I would pay to do this. That would eventually turn into a business, but it started off like I see all entrepreneurs when they go, I really like what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden, you blink your eyes and 15 years pass and you go, I'm living my dream. And that's how it really started.
That's amazing. And just to be able to say that, and it's just such a wonderful thing. And to wake up with gratitude.
Yeah.
And to just, love where you're at and love what you're doing.
Yeah, and take it even a step further. Let's say when FUBU started to have its challenges, I said to myself, I'm so blessed with being somebody who was a minority, who didn't come from sports, who didn't come from music. And if my dumb ass can make it, anybody can. So you know what? I'm going to write a book. And I wrote a book, being a dyslexic guy, writing a book about business because I wanted to share with people what I thought about business. What would happen after that? Well, FUBU and all of my businesses will go well, but you know what? These people called Mark Burnett and Clay saw my books and was like, hey, you know what? I think this guy could come on our new show called Shark Tank. It just generally started by me doing the book and going on to interviews and saying, you know what? I've read a lot of those books out there, and they're too... I get intimidated by some of those books with all these ways to think and psychology. I just want to write a book as a regular person to other regular people and not intimidate them.
Yeah.
It was another thing that I said that I just love to do, and I would have done it for free. And I did it for free. And now I'm here with you.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you're the People's Shark, too, is because you are inspiring everybody that they can do it, and they can believe in themselves, and they can get further than I think we even think we can.
Right.
You got to be way further than you expected you'd be as a kid.
I was supposed to be dead or in jail by 21.
Yeah.
And if not, I was supposed to be a junkie, or maybe I would be a waiter for the rest of my life. So I think I'm a little further than where I initially set out set to be.
You're doing amazing, and I can only aspire, and I'm working towards it myself. And I have one final question for everybody, because I talk a lot about things that we can do daily to keep our minds in peak state and in positivity. You talked a lot in your book about gratitude, or I caught from your book a lot was your gratitude and your appreciation for everything that you do have and have had, and your mom and your upbringing and all of that. So I'm really curious, and I think our listeners would be curious, how do you keep yourself in peak mental state so that you're at your optimal for business and for life and for your relationships? And is there a practice that you do daily?
So it is a practice, and I don't want to make it warm and fuzzy because I want people to leave with real actionable takes that they can, takeaways that they can activate on tomorrow. So whether it's on my Rise and Grind book or anything else, and I've shared it with many people, I do goal setting. And, goal setting is something that is something, the first time I read it, it was Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich book. Yeah. And I was 16 years old, and I would get up and I would do this goal setting exercises. And, I became the man I envisioned I wanted to be by 30, but it was very dark from 16 to 30. And often I would say, why am I doing this? What? This is a waste of time. That Napoleon Hill doesn't know what he's talking about. And if you really look at goal setting is something where you read anywhere from 4 to 10 goals every night before you go to bed and every morning when you wake up. And the reason why you read them is because it's the last thing you think about at night when you go to sleep. So it's the thing you dream about and the first action you take in the morning because you just read them. And if you do goal setting, it's not like go to the store tomorrow and pick up broccoli. That's a task. That's not goal setting.
Right.
Goal setting, my 10 goals, 6 of them expire in 6 months, and the other 4 expire in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and 20 years.
Okay.
And they range from things from health to finance to family to faith, and you read them all the time. And if you read them every night before you go to bed and every morning when you wake up, what happens, the ones that expire in 6 months, you generally get 10% closer, 15, you never get 100% closer, or you're not setting your goals high enough.
Sure.
And you reset them, right? And the reason why you do this is your subconscious mind cannot filter reality or facts. It is something that is being said to it. And whether you are in control of the goals that you read, at night to yourself, if you're not in control of them, you're setting different goals. The thing you're worried about the most at night is the thing you're repeating in your head every single night. And if you're repeating it every single night, you're going to dream about doing it. And every single morning when you wake up, you're going to slowly lead towards that thing. So you could be in a very bad relationship and say, I'm never going to get a good man or a good woman. Well, then you're never going to get a good man or a good woman, right?
You're absolutely right.
You have to push all that garbage out and put those things in. And even then, you may not get, what you want, but it happens. And
you will sure get a hell of a lot closer to what you want.
Yes.
By holding on to those goals and dreams and doing small steps. Like you said, you might not make it, but you sure as hell won't be caught back in the past with your negative thinking.
And it's okay. Sometimes I can sit here and preach all I want about doing it. And sometimes I don't do them for 2 weeks, and I go, why am I feeling so uneasy? Why is this thing? Why don't I not have the same passion about this thing that's in my goals? Wait a minute, I haven't read my goals. you know what I mean? So
right.
So I don't want to act like I'm perfect. Times get dark. Things happen as entrepreneurs. The high suicide rate of entrepreneurs is challenging because everybody watching this now. If you're an entrepreneur, you're somebody that you can't tell your staff your problems because then they're going to leave. You're working from 1 month to 1 month going, hope this account, gives us our money. Your staff is telling you all their damn problems, so they think you walk on water and you have nobody to talk to. So if you can't goal set and do these things, then you won't get yourself on track. And, we have too many people out there in the world saying, go hard, balls to the wall. Oh, it's easy, you're not working hard enough, y'all sleep when I'm dead. That's all crap. They're all screwed up.
It's bullshit. And
it's bullshit.
You remember in my book that I actually almost committed suicide due to all that negative thinking and the weight and everything. And it is. I mean, the do. I think guys, too, were sort of taught to just muscle through it and keep going and work harder. And I worked myself to the bone, and it was all that shame and failure when everything went down that's what brought me down.
Yeah, well, listen, if I say in the book Rise and Grind, when you wake up, don't answer any emails for the first hour because all you're answering is everybody else's problems, right?
Sure.
Everybody's coming into your head at the beginning of the day to tell you their problems because your emails are never going to be that problem we had last month. I solved it and there's a check for $1 million heading your way. That's never going to happen, right? Then also, I said there's plenty of time. Don't go on social media for the first hour because everybody on social media, they're talking about how great they are when they're just all screwed up. If you wake up in the morning and spend the first hour listening to everybody's problem and getting social media depression because everybody's acting like everything is good, then you already started off your day horrible. You didn't start off your day thinking about yourself, how much you love God, or you love your family, or the small accomplishments you had yesterday and how you're going to double that today. And listen, everybody here, they're the only people that have the blueprint to themselves. We can only tell these people and tell others and share with others what has helped us and that we've been also hurt and depressed at times, and then allow them to say, you know what, I'm going to change this blueprint and the narrative in my life.
And we do have the power to change.
That's right.
We really do. And I want to, Daymond, thank you.
Thank you
for spending the time. And I love spending time with you on set. Thank you all for joining us on another episode of Your Mental Best here with Daymond John. Thank you all, and we'll catch you next week.